Hello composers, Mike here. How do you actually export your final track in Logic Pro X? In this video I will show you how to export either as a WAV file, an MP3 file, or why not both? Let's start right now. I will also give you a bonus tip in the end of this video. So let's say this is the project that you are going to export to either a WAV file or an MP3 file. Well, the first thing you need to do is to set the project end, because right now it's way over here, which means if I export this now, it will export the complete file, which means silence all the way from here to the project end. Now you could go to the end here and simply drag this to the left, or you could simply write it in if you have the key signature project end activated up here. Let's say here 21, so set 21 as the project end, which now moved it over here. Next you go into File and then Bounce, Project or Section. And here you can first choose what kind of file format you want to export your project in. PCM, which is a WAV file, or an AIFF file, or a CAF file. Of course, WAV file is the standard. Or an MP3 file where you can choose the bitrate. I recommend using the full bitrate in most cases, quality and so on. So let's set it to WAV file and then set the resolution and sample rate. If this is going to be the final track, meaning the final complete master, I recommend choosing 16-bit and 44-100 because this is the standard professional audio quality format for WAV files. But if we are going to process this file further, for example mastering the music in another software or sending it to a mastering engineer, then I recommend using 24-bit as the resolution and 96,000 as a sample rate. In most cases you can leave these to the default. Here you can see the start and end point for the project. I also recommend you to set this include audio tail in most cases, because let's say you have a reverb that fades out here and it's actually silent over here, but if you have set the project end to be here, if you do not have this option on, it will cut the file right here, which will sound very abrupt since the sound would have faded out to perhaps over here. And then I also recommend you to leave normalize on, because that will take the highest peak in the audio file and set it to 0 decibel, meaning maximum volume. And once you have chosen your settings here, you simply click OK, which brings up the Finder window. Go to the folder where you want to save your project, and then make sure that you use a nice descriptive file name for this project. So fantasy style 16-bar track, and then in parentheses I recommend using what file you use, so WAV 24 and 96, because then I will be able to see the project name as well as the settings for this exported file. Then click Bounce and Logic will process this. As you can see, it will take a while, longer if you have a longer project of course. And once it's done, you can go into the Finder window and check the final file and listen back to it to see that it got to process correctly. And as you can see, the final WAV file is right here now. So let's do the same thing for an MP3 file now. File, Bounce, Project or Section, change this to MP3. Here I will choose 320. If you use the variable bitrate, you can set the quality here, but if you use without this checkbox, it will automatically be maximum quality. Then use best encoding, filter frequencies below 10 Hz, well, you decide. And you can leave these other things, or you can write in some tags inside the MP3 file if you wish, directly here in the Bounce window. And then you check the start and end point, include audio tail on normalize. Well, let's do this on MP3. Go to the folder where you want to save this, and set the project name and use MP3 in this case, and then I will change this to 320. So now you can see this is an MP3 file with 320 in quality. Now here's my bonus tip for you. If we go back to the file, Bounce, project here, you can actually bounce both a WAV file and an MP3 file at the same time. simply select both checkboxes here. Do the settings you want to export to. Let's say we want a 16-bit. This is the final file, 16-bit, 44100. Leave those settings intact, dithering the default. Include audio till and normalize on. And then you need to do the same thing here with the MP3. Set the quality. Now that you bounce these, both files will have the same name. Let's use test. So now it will bounce both a WAV file and an MP3 file at the same time. And then you can simply go into the Finder and set the file name for both of these to correspond to the file type and quality and settings you have chosen. So as you can see, I have MP3 test, WAV test, and you can do the same procedure as you did with this file name and simply rename these files. Check out my complete video series on Logic Pro X tutorials and tips here on my channel. Learn and master Logic Pro X to boost your music composition and production workflow.